Good morning. I'm Tom Remington. Welcome to an episode of Open Air with Tom Remington. I'm looking very journalistic today. Maybe a little bit more like Scoop Jackson. Not like Clark Kent, but anyway. Journalistic integrity. Let's talk about journalistic integrity for a moment. Did you watch the State of the Union address Wednesday night? Did you see what that idiot did? Did you hear what he said? I mean, this guy had the audacity to go before the American people and to talk about some of the damnedest things. And, you know, he's so unpatriotic and you know, to sit there and the way he insulted the Supreme Court, and then he insulted the American people and told them how stupid they were. I mean, what kind of a president is this? Is that journalistic integrity? I don't know. You tell me. But you know, it's funny because we got guys who act that way, and yet they're the first ones to accuse somebody else of not performing in a journalistic integrity manner. If that's anywhere near how I should have said that, if I was a journalist with any integrity at all. See, I don't consider myself a journalist. See, if you look at the definitions of what a journalist is somebody who, in the news media, magazines, newspapers, television, radio, a journalist is somebody who presents facts and like occurrences, and doesn't really offer any type of insight analysis or anything like that, see? Well, that isn't done anymore. So I'm not sure what really a journalist is these days, but I know the need for these guys to protect their industry, journalism, from hacks like me, see? But anyway, so we all know Keith Olbermann. Yeah, Keith Olbermann he has a show on MSNBC at night, of which nobody watches. But the guy is how do I say that? To maintain my journalistic integrity, I'd say the guy was a total moron. But anyway, so he's all upset, as he always is, and my rant at the beginning is I mean, he gets on these rants and he goes ballistic, but, you know, for a guy, I don't know if it's, I've heard that his degree is, I ain't gonna go there. Anyway, he goes on these rants, and yet he's steps up to the plate first to talk about, how can anybody act that way? How can, and so I give an example. He was talking the other night on, I don't know, maybe it was even last night on his show, and trust me, I didn't watch it, but I was reading about it, and in it, he's all upset over James O'Keefe. Now, for those of you who might not know, James O'Keefe was one of the, I think he's a cameraman or whatever. He's one of the guys involved with the Acorn scandal, the expose of these people, Hannah Giles and James O'Keefe, and I'm sorry I forget the other guy's name, but they went undercover and went into these Acorn offices and posed as, prostitutes, and they wanted to import illegal prostitutes, and if Acorn would help them. Well, evidently O'Keefe has been charged for something he did inappropriately in I think it's Senator Mary Landrieu's office in New Orleans or someplace down in Louisiana. And of course the left, Olbermann being one of them, is all over that, like, wiretapping, this is a Watergate scandal. And I guess it's nothing like that, although I don't really know what it is. It has something to do with messing with a phone. And I don't know what that means, but I guess in time we'll find out. But anyway, not to get off the subject, so he's all, rah! You know, I can't believe these guys do this. So he attacks from the journalistic integrity perspective, of all things. And he says, in an interview he was doing somebody, and they were talking about this. This is what he says, okay? From a professional standpoint, which this guy is right. He's from a professional standpoint. I mean, talk about journalistic integrity, right? From a professional standpoint, and he's asking this question of the person he's interviewing, how do you determine whether these groups or individuals, in this case he was talking about James O'Keefe, qualify as journalists rather than political provocateurs? So I'm not sure if he's admitting that he's a political provocateur, which he is. I would say, he's that before he's a journalist, the same as I am. I'm not a journalist, but I am a provocateur. I like to come on here and say things that are provocative. They stir up some emotion in people, get people talking, and maybe they'll even do some thinking on their own. Can you imagine that? But then he goes on to say, even as a journalist, you can espouse views and maintain sufficient journalistic integrity. Like I just did earlier when the show started by going off on a rant and rave about Barack Obama and what he said at the State of the Union address. Is that what maintaining, journalistic integrity is? I mean, it's like, where do these guys get off? It's like, I do what I do. I don't make excuses for it. I'm proud of it. I have a lot of fun doing it. I get called a lot of names. I get some really nasty emails, but that's okay. You have to expect that. I'm not going to say things to make everybody happy. But in the same token, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, golly sakes, I'm sorry for what I do. I'm not a journalist, and I didn't go to college to be a journalist, but anybody can get on TV. Well, not anybody get on TV, but they can write about facts, something that happened. Hey, it's cloudy outside. I'm a journalist. I'm a weather journalist. I just stated a fact. It's, but, to do the rest of it is interesting. So why does he get his undies in such a wad over this thing? It's like his James O'Keefe. He's doing something that this country was founded on. He's practicing his free speech. Now, granted, you can't go on somebody's private property and do things that are illegal, no more than Keith Olbermann can or anybody else can. But within the law, we all have a right to free speech. We all have a right to be political provocateurs. Oh my God! They all are. That's what the news is. And do you know why it's that way? Because that's what people want to hear. They don't want to hear the days of Edward R. Murrow and when they sat up there and today in Washington, John walked down the street smoking a cigar. No, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear insight. They want to hear analysis and that sort of stuff. And that's all cool. And, there's a time and a place for everything, and it's pretty good. So, just because you're angry and, I don't know, just, lay off that crap and just take it for what it is. That's what they do, Keith, and that's why nobody comes and watches your show. And maybe someday, as I go along, if I can get anywhere near good at what I do on this thing, maybe somebody will come and watch my show too. And then I can be a real political provocateur. Yes, while maintaining my journalistic integrity. What do you think? Do I look journalistically integrate? Hey, go out and have yourself a nice day. It's been a lot of fun. I'm Tom Remington. See you next time on Open Air.